Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Dead Space 3 demo walkthrough. It's on the standard difficulty because you can't seem to pick anything higher. And we're about to see this. I don't know if this enemy was capable of anything like this previously, but I know there's been a head that had tentacles in Dead Space 2. This one, however, reanimates bodies that can now shoot at you, so it's an interesting mechanic. And best thing to do is stasis and dismember, but you need to dismember the head, so these guys are completely different to the other necromorphs. I was testing this theory on this video right now. If I shot them in the body to see if it did anything at all, and it doesn't. It just seems to... they tank it very well. The strategy on these is literally aim for the necromorph, aim for the head. It is against everything you've learnt in Dead Space. But that's cool because it mixes it up. And just be aware that if you do not kill these things, they will continue to reanimate bodies. And they can be quite difficult to hit. But you've got plenty of ammo, so you should be fine. And you can always do a good old stomp if you know, all else fails. But this room here, you cannot move those bodies. You can't even dump them in that hole to stop that from happening, which is a big shame, I think. And one weird thing about this demo, this is kind of breaking the fourth wall for some people, but the recording had delayed audio, and I don't know why. I have absolutely no idea what was going on there, but it did. And I had to go in and manually adjust the audio and the video to compensate for the fact that when it recorded, it for some reason did not record in 1:1, which is the first time that's ever happened, and I've nearly made 2,000 videos. Doesn't make any sense to me. But this sequence here, there's going to be necromorphs fighting soldiers, and you can let them fight if you want to save some ammo and then kill the stragglers, or you can just have a bit of fun. It doesn't really matter. Just be careful with these torso tentacle guys. They seem to take a beating, and the faster than they look, they do a massive lunge. But, you know, it's Dead Space 101. As soon as you see something that looks like a tentacle or an arm, if you blow it off, you're going to do some serious damage. And that is how you're going to play for the majority of the game. These things here are larger versions of those tiny creatures off Dead Space 1. They were a pain in the ass and impossibility because they could strip you dead in seconds. They were in 2, but they were nowhere near as bad in 2. But there's a lot of interesting stuff on display. They've gone for a very action-packed section of the demo, and it makes me wonder if everything's going to be this action-packed. Because the game feels easier. I don't know if it's because I'm on normal, but it feels easier than I remember them being. And this whole double gun stuff is going to make some firefights significantly easier than I thought they would be. Co-op is going to make the game even easier, so it makes me wonder if you can do hardcore mode on co-op. Because aside from the one-hit kills and the bullshit moments, it's probably going to be significantly easier than the past game. I have no idea though, because like I say, I haven't played the full game. The full game might have all sorts of different things happening. You know, it might be the scariest, most intense and difficult Dead Space so far. We just don't know. This section coming up is the drill sequence they showed at E3. The sequence itself should be simple, but it's awkward because sometimes you just can't shoot the core of the drill. And you are getting bum rushed by a lot of necromorphs, which I think this section is going to be quite tricky on the harder difficulties. And because the drill is a one-shot, on hardcore, if you make a mistake here, you're dead. It's that simple. And we don't know how far through the game this is, because they did say that not all of the game takes place on this planet. Apparently there's a station before this planet where certain stuff happens. But the puzzles took me a while actually, because I'm a moron, and I didn't realise you had to keep on holding it, because I don't know about you, but when you initiate the kinesis on it, and you're holding it, you don't get any feedback telling you that you're supposed to hold it or that holding it is doing anything. There's no subtle vibrations in the pad, there's no real noise of success. It's just, I don't know, it's not a lot of user feedback. I thought that was a bit of a problem personally. But the fight here is literally use the stasis from the walls to freeze the drill to shoot the core. Freeze the necromorphs around you, hit them with the force gun, something like that. There are 3 phases to the drill. Each one is a little bit more erratic than the last one. Do not let it touch you whatever you do. And the necromorphs around you don't do that much damage. And I know it's on normal, but it makes me wonder if these scripted events, you're not going to take as much damage, because when you're trying to shoot this drill, unless you stasis the the entire crowd of enemies, you're going to be getting punched and cheap-shotted quite a lot. And I don't know, it's going to be different. When I play the game on its hardest setting, I'll probably have a much better answer for you. But as it stands, I'm not too sure what the best strategy is. Do you freeze them all and like take the kneecaps, or do you just let them chase you and kind of kite them? Because you can kill this drill really fast if you hit it with the right stuff. Because on co-op, we took it down in seconds. It's just... Look at him. You see this pussy torso's just whipping me. And the demo starts you off with so many healing items, it's probably impossible to die on this game, on this demo, unless you get touched by the saw thing in front of us, the drill. Which I did on my first time. I had no idea what was happening, and I died. But... I don't know. How do y'all guys feel about moments like this? I personally really do not enjoy them. It's a cool concept, but it's never fun to play. You know, throwing enemies at you while there's an environmental hazard you've got to deal with, and I don't know, it's just not the most fun, I don't think. But it looks interesting. And anybody wondering about the guide that's going to be coming very shortly, I'm going to be doing a solo guide on Zealot, which is the hardest difficulty. I'm also going to be doing a co-op guide, although that might just be a playthrough with me and my buddy. I have not really decided what we're going to do. Depending on how we feel about the game and the difficulty will probably depend on what the run is. Because we might do, you know, a crazy restriction run, or it might just be a silly run of us just being idiots, like normal. But now that you've killed that, you can continue onwards, pretty much towards the end of the demo. And on this moment here, if you run directly forwards towards the ship, you will completely skip this shootout. I found that out in co-op when I decided to try and use my shotgun on these soldiers. It's entirely up to you if you want to waste ammo here, or if you want to just enjoy the last moments of the demo. Because there's going to be a little cutscene that takes place, which takes control away from you, and when it gives you back control, it's the end of the game, essentially. But like, the cover trick does kind of work on this game, but every so often your bullets will hit and register against the piece of cover you're trying to clip around. But I don't know, shooting people in a dead space is weird to me. I don't know if I like it, I don't know how I feel about it, I don't know how it's going to be handled in the main game. Enemy diversity is always, you know, a good thing, but it does come at a cost, because shooting dudes that shoot you back, not a fan of it, but at least it doesn't knock you over like it did on Resi 6. That is just fucking dumb. That just proves Capcom have just literally lost the pulse with their finger and they have no idea what's going on. But I assume this is going to be one of those interactive cutscenes where you have to shoot the glowing yellow parts when you play the full game. This thing looks cool. But that is Dead Space 3, guys. It comes out, I believe, on the 5th of February, and I will be covering it. So thank you for watching, and you take care now.